Good afternoon, everybody. As soon as the choir, we're going to get going here. So for the last two songs are one of the things we're very excited to premiere for you this evening is the commission of Winchester High School's first school song, first alma mater. I want to give you just a quick synopsis of how this project came to be and how it came to pass, and then I'll let Mr. Collins say a few words, and this is Costello will say a few words as well. When Kira passed away a few years back in 2016, yes. Instead of flowers and money being donated to the family, they asked that the donation be made to the high school directly, which is wonderful and very thoughtful. And then after that time passed, we got together and said, well, now that we have this generosity from the community, what would we like to do with it? And the idea came up, well, let me commission a piece in Kira Coleman's memory. And we thought that the commission would be the first school song ever. So we're together, the music department and the Colemans and myself and Mr. Fleming and the composer, who is local in Brookline, Jim Papoulis, got together and wrote a song for the students in memory of Kira Coleman. And I will tell you, just as being Kira's teacher for 3 years in middle school, and then I wasn't here yet when she came back here, but just a wonderful, wonderful project. We're lucky to have Jim Papoulis. He can't be here tonight. He is probably one of the more well-known choral composers in our country and worldwide currently. And he took it under his wing and met with the family, met with me several times, and gave us several drafts. And just, I wish he was here. He was a very warm man. Listen to what Stu and Kathy were saying about their daughter. Listen to what the music department was saying about what we knew about Kira. And wrote this beautiful, simple piece that we hope lives on forever in Winchester High School and the Winchester community. So we'll be hearing that premiere tonight. And we hope that for really special events and big events, this is the song that we sing. Alumni will come back and join, and we hope that over time, that you, the community, will join in singing it. I think you'll find there's a very simple piece of music, but very, very beautiful at the same time. So that's the history of how this came to be for this evening. We've been waiting for a little over 2 years with this project, just so you know. We're very excited for tonight. I've spoken with the students multiple times about the importance of this and why we're doing it. And I hope you enjoy this moment. I'm going to give it over to Mr. Coleman. Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
It's a beautiful afternoon out there, and we've been fortunate to have the opportunity to take part in another Buford masterpiece today. Pretty incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, sachems and friends, when the idea of commissioning the Winchester High School alma mater as a memorial to our daughter, Pure Grace, was proposed, we knew immediately that it was meant to be. Not just because we, like all bereft parents, want to keep the memory of our child alive, but because music was Kira's gift. And here we had an opportunity to give that gift back to the world, to Winchester for her. Music to Kira was what food, water, and air are to the rest of us. She didn't just sing, she was the music. She embodied it. It flowed through her. And now Winchester will have its very own song, and Kira's love of music will live on. Some of you knew our Kira well, but many of you didn't. With your permission, I'd like to tell you a little bit about her and her life. Her essential nature was shy and sweet and prone to self-doubt. But she was also virtuous, very protective of her friends, and always surprised and hurt when people acted badly. I can tell you this for sure. Kira would be like, huh? This is a joke, right? What is in your coffee? She would be flat out astounded that she is the source of inspiration for anything like this, especially in the sense that we hope this song will someday be considered quintessential Winchester. She didn't consider herself representative of WHS. She didn't really think she fit. She didn't realize that few people think they fit when they're teens. For me, The first thing is she didn't like school very much, though she was smarter than she gave herself credit for. WHS felt socially dangerous to her at times. She was very sensitive and easily wounded by real and imaginary slights. She was not a loner, though, far from it. She had 5 best friends and was accepted in pretty much all social circles. Smart kids, volleyball, theater, arts, music, LGBTQ, social action, minority students, Temple Share Tikva buddies. Kira played sports just to be on the team, really, and to hang out with Coach Flem, who she adored. She became the designated anthem singer for WHS sporting events. Parents told us that they rushed to get to the game on time just to hear her sing. But she also liked to have fun, and she was a true goofball at times. And she had this big snorty laugh. She always had things to do. When she started driving, she immediately commandeered her mother's car and drove around town to the mall and anywhere else the gang decided to go. A few of them are here today. Kids fought to ride shotgun in Kira's gold CRV so they could get the full effect of her miraculous, pitch-perfect voice as she sang over the radio. But still, she was acutely aware of and identified with kids on the fringe and went out of her way to bring them into the group. Nobody should feel left out. We heard from quite a few of them after Kira passed away. During middle school, she sang with her favorite teacher, the very same Mr. Joel Buford, in Jubilation, and was named Best Singer at the regionals. She won Winchester Idol as a junior and was in octets as a senior. In high school, she sang at Johnny D's, the Middle East, and Berklee College of Music. Kira went to Loyola University of New Orleans to study popular music. She dreamed of a career in the music industry. I truly believe that would have been the case. She was that good. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can search for her yourself on YouTube and SoundCloud to see if you agree. In what turned out to be her last performance, she brought the house down at the House of Blues in New Orleans, singing TLC's Waterfall, sort of Motown, early hip-hop mashup. I was fortunate enough to be there. She sang that song like she grew up in Detroit. And her classmates called out her name afterward. Kira, Kira, Kira. Dad stood with the crowd in the mosh pit and fell. Kira looked down at me with a beautiful smile on her face, a memory for all time. In the months preceding her death, Kira wrote 3 amazing songs for her first album. She was so excited about this project. And then she made a mistake that cost her and us dearly. You might wonder, what's it like for us to lose Kira? It's impossible really to explain, but you could think of it this way. What would your life be like if you could never hear music again? She was the soundtrack of our lives from the earliest days when she filled the house with snippets of songs that she heard on Sesame Street or learned at Temple. And now her music has stopped. The silence is deafening. Our loss was a tragedy, but not a rare occurrence. Unfortunately, premature loss of life happens more than most of us like to think. Winchester has been hard hit. Many of the deaths involve cars, or drugs, or both. But some are just random arrows shot out of the universe. I say this today only because I feel a special obligation to try to protect the parents in this room. I know that I speak for the Gills, the Vozellas, the Sopers, Michal Kenny, Kenji Friedman, Mark Dohan, and Marion McGill, and just last week, the Castillo family of Colorado. This is the club that's looking for no new members. I hope the younger generation will hear this brief but important message. Do not tempt fate. There's plenty of danger in the world without you adding to it. No, you can't live your life in a padded room, but you can be aware. Exercise due caution, and perhaps most importantly, do that for your friends if you see them going off the rails. You are about to hear the first public performance of We Open Our Arms to All, the new Winchester School song. The idea for this came from Winchester High Music Department, Joel Buford and Mary Costello. Joel found the composer, Jim Papoulis, a recognized master in this craft, who conceived the music and lyrics after learning about the school and speaking with us about Hero. We think the lyrics are an important statement about the values of inclusion and respect for all. Kira would certainly be happy to know that she has had a small part in making Winchester and the world a more accepting place. It is a most fitting tribute to her. Kathy and I are thankful for the opportunity to remember her in this special way. We Open Our Arms to All is a beautiful anthem for Winchester. We think Jim nailed it with his composition. We know Kira would love to sing.
Special things. So one thing I'm going to present to the Coleman family is a nice invitation for tonight that we sent out to families and friends. On the left it says about today's event, and on the right is the original first page of the manuscript by Jim Papoulis, and we want to give this to the family so we can cherish it.
Mary Costello, and I have the honor to represent the music department. I'm the director of the program here, K through 12. And we should note that there is going to be another version of that framed portrait that will be accepted by the school committee as a gift, and hopefully will hang in the Winchester High School office. So Joel and I struggled and talked often as to when would be the appropriate time to do this, and we really wanted to make sure that we timed it correctly, and we had a sense of urgency that we wanted to make sure that we didn't wait too long. But I think in some interesting way, this is the perfect weekend to do this. It's the end of Teacher Appreciation Week. I know that as a teacher, I often am humbled by how much music affects students in their high school career. We have the joy of sharing some and guiding some true intellectual growth, but we also have the unique privilege of teaching a subject that truly connects people together and affects people's souls. So it is truly a privilege to be part of this music department. I have the honor of announcing this year's Kira Coleman Creativity and Kindness Scholarships. In addition to commissioning an alma mater for the school, we were lucky to have received such a generous gift in Kira's name, and we had the ability to add a scholarship to that memorial. So this will be the third year that we offer this scholarship. The first recipient was Miss Olivia Mancello, who is studying at the University of Massachusetts in Lowell. Second recipient was Samuel Lee, last year's graduate, and he is studying music at Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. This year, we decided that we would present this award to two students, and they happen to be performing this evening. Our first, let me actually read the description. The Kira Coleman Creativity and Kindness Scholarship is in memory of Kira Coleman, class of 2015, awarded to a student who excels in music or other artistic field and who demonstrates kindness, compassion, and inclusivity throughout their high school career. Doesn't mean that it's been smooth sailing for students, but that they have stuck through it, are admired, are appreciated for their gifts and their values. So, without further ado, and this is a surprise to them, the first recipient is Mr. Sam Cagnetta. And Sam is going to be heading to Hamilton next year. Not the show, the school. Our second and well-deserving recipient is Miss Aria Bauer. So the other reason we thought this was an appropriate time is that we have about a week left with our seniors. And it's always a bittersweet time for us. I know I've known some of these students since they were 9 years old, learning strings in the 3rd grade. And it's always a pleasure to see them grow into wonderful human beings. We really do love these students. We get very attached, so it's always a bittersweet time of year. So without further ado, we're going to introduce, we've got a nice little sextet here from the orchestra that has volunteered their time to be here today, and we will premiere We Open Our Arms to All.
Anyone knows how to play this song? Abby, keep on there, but gentle.